Hello, I'm Julia Cordova. Thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel and liking my videos. I really appreciate it. So there are a lot of new traders out there, and I thought I would start today by just giving some new traders some advice. And I have a special effect that I have been waiting to use, and this is so exciting. Oh my gosh, please work. There was some suspense there. Oh, not financial advice. Oh, that was awesome. Wasn't even CGI. Okay. Anyway, if you are a new trader, there's a lot of ads out there and a lot of services and a lot of people talking about taking $10,000 and turning it into $1 bajillion. And while that would be really nice, I mean, that'd be great, right? But if anybody could do that consistently, then they'd be taking the $1 bajillion and turning it into a gajillion, billion, million, zillion, dillion dollars. They wouldn't be on the internet trying to sell you something. So the best path forward, actually, before you start to think about how you can make a gajillion, jillion, dillion, jillion dollars, is to figure out what you need to make in order to live off of. This is if you're thinking about trading as a full-time job. So after you've calculated what you need to live off of per month, week, month, year, whatever it is, then the next thing, and you're not going to like this, I wouldn't like this if I were you, I didn't like this, I didn't follow this advice. That's how I lost a lot of money. Anyway, the next thing to do after you figured out how much you need to live off of is to take a very small amount. So I don't know what a small amount is to you. Is it $100? Is it $500? Is it $1,000? Pick a number, and that is the amount you're willing to lose, okay? Just when you're learning. That's your tuition. Now, I know some people are like, well, I want to go to an Ivy League school. That does not necessarily mean that you need to lose more to learn, okay? You just need to have enough in this account to where it means something to you, but not a lot. So it means a little bit. I personally don't advocate trading paper accounts. Here's why. Because psychologically, trading a paper account is very different than trading an account with money in it. It just is. It doesn't even matter if it's a small amount of money. It just is different. So I would recommend taking a small account and then figuring out from that, okay, whatever your trading account will be, and you figured out then how much you need to make in order to survive. You figured out what percent that you need to accomplish, whether it's per day, week, month, that. So do the math, basically, and then take that small account and do the same math. So if you need to make, and I'm just picking, if you need to make 1% a week, which is really good. I know it doesn't seem it, but it is. It's really, that would be great, right? I mean, it would. Do the compounding in order to agree with me. However, also out of that compounding, you need to pay yourself. We'll get to that later. Anyway, out of that small account, figure out how much you need to make based on the bigger account that you're gonna have later, and how much you need to live off of. The small account, you should be trying to make the same percent, okay? Now, out of that small account then, you're gonna wanna divide it up, and you're gonna wanna figure out what time frame that you're interested in trading. Are you a swing trader? Are you somebody who buys something and holds it for a few days, a few weeks, a few months, etc.? And you're gonna wanna divide that account up. I personally, I actually have several, but I have an investing account, and then I have a a scalp / day trade account. And I have it divided up so that I have things that are growing in my swing trade account, and then I also have like a lot of flexibility intraday to even short things that I'm long in my swing account in order to sort of hedge myself, if you will. So divide up that account, then figure out what your trading rules are. Now, there's a lot of ways to trade. I have another video that talks about how I plan to trade. That's a great place to start. If you haven't looked there yet, I'll link that in this video. But you're going to want to figure out what your rules are. And when you're starting, of course, you need to know, when you'll take profit, and you'll need to know when you'll take a loss. And those are really the two most important things. I know it's weird, but that is important. And because I know my plan when I first started trading, I was like, well, I want to make money. That's my plan. That's not a plan. That is wishful thinking. Well, anyway, so you're going to want some trading rules. And then I personally think the fewer the better. And here's why. Because you're going to want to change them. You may or may not be successful right out of the gate. And you're going to want to change some of those rules. And so the fewer variables you have to start with, the less confusing it is to change or add something. If you start off with 15 trading rules and you want to change something, you're going to not know which thing to change in order to move forward. And I hope that makes sense. So that's it, really. And then you're just going to want to be consistent for some period of time. After you've proven to yourself that you can make whatever percent it is that you need to live on a consistent basis, then you can go forward, add a little bit to the account, figure it out. And I talked about paying yourself. I do that, right? I pay myself every week. I compound my money, but I also pay myself. I have to pay myself because I live off of this money. So you're going to want to figure out compounding versus paying yourself. All of that should be in your business plan. And maybe I'll make a different video about a business plan, but really, just from 1,000 view, the only way to not lose money if you're trading is simply not to trade. I should write a book. Anyway, so let's talk charts. And I'm going to go pretty quick this week because I've added in some charts and I don't want to bore y'all. Okay. Ooh, hope that wasn't really loud. I don't know. All right. Oops, I'm stuck. It's like stuck on a cord. There we go. Okay. Oh my goodness. All right, let's start off by looking at ES or SPX or S&P 500 futures on a weekly basis. What happened this past week? So for the past couple weeks, I've said I had my bear antennas up. That wasn't great 2 weeks ago. That was great last week, though. Although, and I'll talk about this on the daily, it didn't happen in the order in which I wanted it to. Oh, gosh. Anyway, so let's look at this weekly. So, I see some bearish divergence happening here. That's unfortunate. You can see the past couple of incidents where there has been some bearish divergence. There have been some pullbacks after them. Not always huge, right? But, you know, definitely some pullbacks after these bearish divergences. So I will maintain my bear antennae for now. I will maintain the antennae. That means that I won't go full scale long, and we'll look at the daily and figure out when I'll go full scale short. But the bear antennae are out. Let's look at RSI support here. Well, we did end. That's pretty good. We did end the week right on the ambulance RSI support. We've got a crap candle. Now, we've talked about this before. We've had crap candles before. 1, 2, the third crap candle. Third time's the charm? I kind of think so. Anyway, these are the weekly pivots that I'm watching from price perspective. Starting off with 30.48. That would be, I mean, it could happen. That could happen. It could also go up. People, don't get mad at me, by the way, if whatever I think doesn't happen. That's weird. You should have your own thoughts as well. I'm just telling you what I think. I'm just sharing it with you. I don't know. I'm not a fortune teller. All right, let's look at, or am I? No, I don't know. Okay. So I had started off by, you know, I always say that a triple top, there's no such thing as a triple top, and I'd mark this off 1, 2, and 3. The most bullish scenario that I could think of to happen was actually not to go above this triple top right away, but to come down here first. That's what I wanted. You know why? Because it would have been more bullish longer term, I think. Because, you know, it would have given some people, it would have scared some people, it would have given opportunity for people to get long and make money in the all-time high crowd, you know. It would have let everybody join in. that's not what happened. It went higher first, and I did say that if it got above this triple top, which is about 3233 or so, flip long. And then, you know, and I think I also said last week, you know, as a scalp, so take your money, take some money right away. Anyway, we ended the week right on the finish line, a little bit below, but can you cut me a break, please? We also ended right on RSI support down here, and it's a double RSI support. This line that I added last week, see, it hit the resistance here on a daily basis, and this line that I added right last week, it ended sort of, I mean, I'll make it big so you can see it. I mean, it ended right below. I don't know if that means that it will just go down or whether or not we'll come back up. I'm going to look at smaller time frames to figure that out. I'm just giving you some ideas. Okay, so optimally, what I'd like to have happen is get a little bounce thing going on before I figure out whether or not I'm going to go short, or maybe go long. But it's possible. I actually have a tiny long going into this weekend, and I'm really nervous about it, so maybe that means it's good. I don't know. This is also a Fed week, so there's going to be lots of shenanigans. But anyway, this is what I'm watching tomorrow. I'm watching these pivots tomorrow. So 3206.89 would be the finish line pivot tomorrow, and we'll see how slash tonight, and we'll see how ES behaves there. Okay. Now, let's look at the Nasdaq. I have never looked at this before with you guys. This is a brand spanking new chart. And I did have some lines here, but my computer crashed, so I did not save them. So we can just look at this. Oh boy. If you squint, and I did draw this in, but I didn't want to really be bear pornish for you guys. But if you squint, you can sort of see what looks like an ascending wedge, which is generally bearish in nature. And from a channel perspective, we lost the channel here. I realize, I know some of y'all are looking at this going, I am not a CMT. I don't even know what that stands for. I always think country music television. I don't know. I just draw lines, and they tend to work. Well, anyway, there is also some divergence here if you look day to day from this close here on the 10th to the next high close, which is a higher close on the 20th. We got higher price but lower RSI, and you know that has played out so far. It might play out more. The measured move after leaving a channel is generally, if you were to measure the height of the channel from the bottom to the top in vertical terms, the measured move would be also from the high to the bottom. But I think this is a little bit bigger than that. We'll have to see. And it may even turn into a flag. You never know, right? Because that is kind of, I mean, it might turn into a flag. We'll have to watch throughout the week. But in particular, I am watching this 10, 7, 12 area, and you know, it could go higher. That's what I'll say. And I will keep my day-to-day moves on Twitter. If I don't know, probably I just won't say anything, or if I'm not sure, I won't say anything, because I mean, not that when I'm sure it's always right, but like, I don't want to, I feel like I'm starting to get people mad at me. I don't want any of that. I just want to trade my trade. I don't want to trade for an audience. I'm just trading for myself. So don't be mad at me. Don't do any stuff. And also don't be like telling me I'm great too. That's fine. I don't care. I'm just doing this for myself. All right, now let's look at gold. This is the gold weekly we looked at yesterday when I was like, there is some divergence, but not enough to short from. No, that was a little bit of an understatement. You know, does this look toppy to me? Nope, sure doesn't. Sure doesn't. it might go down, but it's certainly, this weekly candle does not look toppy to me. So I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. Let's see. And let's look. I did add another line this week at 1926 because that is the previous high, right? So, I mean, does it look like it could get there? Yeah. Would I start shorting right now? No. And if I were long, would I have taken some profits? Yep. Yep. Yeah, I sure would have. But, I mean, that's only because if there is a correction, we can look to see whether or not it's buyable. So right now, I don't see any reason to get rid of all of it. And I don't see any reason to short. But, you know, we'll have to see. We'll have to watch price action as it gets up here closer to the high, if it does. And if it does, we'll have to figure out what we see. And again, this is a Fed week. Fed weeks tend to move, especially precious metals. So let's really keep an eye on that. If you are a new trader or somebody who gets motion sick, I would advise just not trading this week. I know you don't want to hear that. It's just a lot of things can happen on a Fed week. It's a lot of this, and it's a lot of making people who were right look wrong, making people who were wrong look right. It's a lot of confusion. It's a hard week to trade, but especially Wednesday. And generally speaking though, at least for the markets, they do tend to kind of right before the Fed. They don't want to, usually they don't want to do too much right before the Fed meeting because they want to like keep us in suspense and bore us a little bit before they whack us around and willy winking us. Okay. Anyway, that's gold. Let's look at silver. I didn't look at silver last week, but I did tell you that I was long silver. That was good. This was a really good week for me, I have to say. But there is, and you can see too, the last time there was some divergence, look what happened. That was a pretty big drop. And you can see that so far, from peak to peak, there's also potential divergence in silver. I see a lot of people who are long all freaked out, which makes me think it's going to go higher. And a lot of people are just like itching to short, which also makes me think it's going to go higher. But we have to see, we have to wait. We don't know yet whether or not this is divergence. Could it go higher? Yeah, it could. It could also go lower, but let's look at what happens. So this RSI is getting up there. Does that mean that you should sell? Sometimes when RSI gets into this mode, it's actually the time when it goes up the mostest. And look at this move though, seriously. So the bigger the candle is down here, the more percent it is. But look at this, look, it's huge. It's huge. And so I would advise, if you went long silver with me, I don't know where it was on this weekly chart, but it's somewhere on Twitter. I don't know. Anyway, I would advise that you take some profits. You don't have to take all your profits. That's the thing. You don't. You can take partial profits. That's the thing. It's hard to do, but you can do it. Anyway, let's zoom out. Zoom. Let's see what's happened. Well, so this is not, and people were pointing this out, smart people were pointing this out on Twitter, that, you know, hey, the last time gold was at this price, look where silver was. It was at 50 bucks, right about here. And that's true. And that could mean something. That could mean a lot, or it could mean absolutely nothing. It could also mean that silver is actually following gold here. We'll have to see. I mean, there is a lot of momentum here so far in this move. A little bit more than the last time you can see, but you can see it, a similar kind of candle. We'll watch it. We'll watch it week to week. We'll take profits. We'll be happy together. But look at this. Look at this last time. There were a lot of these big old candles. I mean, surprising amount right in a row. But let's see what happens. I mean, I'm going to remain long until otherwise noted. And we'll see. I don't know whether or not this is divergence yet. It is unclear, but I am hopeful that the price, that price will catch up with RSI. That RSI will catch up with, that RSI will catch up with price, and we'll go into the stratosphere. And look at this though too. I mean, you can see, you know, is this a time to sell when price gets up here? Like, look at this, when this happened here. Would this have been a time to sell? Would it have looked like it? Probably. If you could, I was going to try to cover it up for you, but I can't. I don't know how to do that. And I'm not, I've already used up my special effects for today. But think about it. Like if you were to cut off this chart right here, that would have seemed like, oh, let me move it over. Anyway, if you were to cut off this chart right here, right when RSI got up to this area, you'd have been like, wow, that's a good time to take profit. And look, it would be lower than this last time, you know? Like, I mean, no, nope. Huddle, that's what I'm doing. But not financial advice, duh. And take profits. All right, now let's look at oil. So this is the most nakedest chart. Jada, there better be burglars outside or something. I think it's probably a CAT. Anyway, this is probably the nakedest chart I've shown here. I just drew 2 lines. I don't have any RSI lines here to speak of. They haven't fixed my charts yet. I'm waiting. Jada, stop. Love you. Okay. But if you were to have taken the short at 42.16, like I said, you'd be in the money right now. And that would be a guaranteed winner. Now, you did risk some, right? It wasn't the most perfect entry in the world. That's okay. But actually, I mean, could I have drawn the line better? Maybe. I don't care. It's a weekly chart. I mean, it's true that if I picked this, whatever. I'm not a country music technician. Anyway, let's look at a smaller time frame here and see what happened. I'm going to look at 1 hour. Okay, I'll rewind it. First of all, I guess it would have been a good trade to see if whether or not to go up there. But anyway, let me zoom. Just making it bigger here. So from the start of last week, I don't know what day that was, about here, it just went, and if you'd started the short right here, you'd have been like, Julia doesn't know what she's talking about. And then it would have come back down and be like, oh. And then on the back test, if you'd added to the short, you'd be like, wow, Julia's really freaking smart. And then hopefully you took some partial profits at some point, because that's a big drop, right? That was an entire $1 or more. So, I mean, that's good for a trade. And then it got above again, but not as much. And on the going back down, it's easy to do this in hindsight, isn't it? However, I did mention it last week, so I got this. But I'm just saying, on an hourly basis, so far so good on the short. Now, if it got higher than this high here, el no bueno for shorts and el bueno for longs. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not. We'll have to see. But for now, it's still not bearish looking, okay? It looks, I mean, look at this. Up and to the right. Up and to the right. It's still not bearish looking. But I will probably short if I have funds available. I actually, the way I trade is I only have really 2 or 3, sometimes more, positions at a time in my day trade account. So if I have funds available and I see an opportunity to short oil and I have made my trade plan out and all that stuff, then it probably will. But same thing in reverse. If it gets above 42.16 and then, you know, gets way above here, I look for a place to long. But right now, I think it's, you know, counter trending a little bit, so small amount of dollars and profit taking. But so far, I like what I see. I like that it tried to get higher and couldn't. Although, again, it could look like it does look like a flag. So patience and small amounts of money and figuring it out as you go. But right now, I'll maintain bearishness until it gets back above the previous high. All right, now, natural gas. Oh. Now, you know, people give me a lot of crap because look how busy my chart is. Now, it wouldn't have been busy, well, if you're with me in real time, you know that I keep it busy because I'd like to measure my accuracy. So let's just go ahead and look at my natural gas accuracy before you put a whole lot of faith in me on this one. So it looks to me like this could potentially be an H&S or an inverse head and shoulders. And then if that were the case, the neckline would be right at about 1.89-ish or so, okay? Oh, and I do still like it. I do still like it for up, but let's see. I've had several times where I've hoped, look at this last one, I hope this would be an inverse head and shoulders. Nope. I hope this blue one. Nope. I mean, and the reason I was looking for these patterns to start working, and this one's actually better because it's already made the turn. Like, whereas these, I'm like, I hope it makes the turn, and it didn't make the turn. Stop out. I hope it makes the turn, and it didn't make the turn. Stop out. I mean, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And as long as you take partial profits, it's fine. But it's hard. The reason I was drawing those is because look how well it behaved before. Let's look at the big pink one. And this one first. This one, I think the black one was the first one I drew in here. Like, that worked out. And then the pink one. Let me make it smaller. That worked out. I was trying to have a double boob here, like a double-headed boob. I'm saying boob. I don't know why, because they look like boobs, like, right? They look like, it looks like armpit fat, boob. And then I was just hoping for another armpit fat and then having it go up. But it didn't. So, Natty is very hard to trade. So I'm showing you how not accurate I can be on Natty so that you don't put a whole lot of money into it just yet. But I just told you what I'm doing. So again, don't get mad at me in case. But yeah, I like it. I like it here. And we'll see what happens this week. We'll see. But this was a very good week for Natty. Okay, amen. Let's go to look at Joe, which is coffee. I hadn't shared the chart with you on YouTube before. I hadn't even shared it on Twitter until last week, because I was worried about it. Because look at coffee. Okay, the chart's not very long, right? At least on a weekly basis, but look at it. It's not bullish looking yet. And it probably won't look bullish looking until it's like, then people telling me, is it too late to get in? That's when it starts to look bullish. Whenever somebody says, is it too late to get in? That's like, before they ask the question, they should have gotten in and say, I just got in, now am I screwed? That's a much better question to ask on something that's going up. Just in my experience, I'm just saying. Because that's how momentum stuff works, and I don't know how to trade momentum. Well, I do, but I'm not gonna. I don't like it. I prefer to bottom catch and top call and stuff like that. It's just more my gig. Anywho, let's see. These are my lines. I don't know if they're good or not. They're just my lines, but looks to me like we had an inverse head and shoulders in RSI. That broke out this week, and that it did well, and I'm looking to continue buying it on pullbacks. We'll have to see, but I like it here. I like it here a lot. I like the fact that, and I don't talk about volume often, but I like the fact that it looks like there was some what's it called? Oh my gosh. Acquiring going on, when it goes chicka 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 chicka, and you see some volume candles, it does look like there was some acquiring going on here, and it looks like it got above. I'm gonna make this big. Oh, I don't know why it didn't save that before when I went to look at these. Okay, let's look at the pivots for this week. There we go. Okay, so Jada, you know what? You can't tell because it's not in stereo vision, but you know what? She's outside right now. You know what she does? She'll go out the dog door. There's a huge fenced-in backyard, but she figures her way out of it no matter what I do. She gets out of the fence, and then she goes and she sits on the front porch, and she barks to get in. She doesn't go anywhere when she escapes. She just sits there on the front porch and she barks to get in like I'm her butler. And I am during the week. I have to close the dog door when I'm away because Wallaby is an angel, but Jada is not. Anyway, sorry for that. Okay. So, you know, it looks like it closed above the 20 MA this week. Remember what we've talked about, 20 MAs. Of course, this is a weekly chart, so we'll have to see. But I'm looking to add, actually, on pullbacks here. We'll see how it goes. Oh. Anyway, these are the pivots I'm watching for this week. And I'm hoping that it maintains. And if it doesn't, don't hate me. All right, and that's it. That's the whole thing. Oh, I had to make myself big. Okay. Thank you so much again for listening to this whole thing. If you're still here and you heard my dog story and everything. And thank you again for liking the video and subscribing. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a great week. We're going to make lots of money this week, and I will see you around the interwebs. Okay, bye.